Hey there! So today I'm gonna be talking about my birth story and how did I pass from a natural normal labor to an emergency C-section. It's a little bit intense, but we all go through it in some way. So the purpose of this video is to help people out, is to help whoever who went through the same or whoever who's going to go through the same. We are today from my baby's room because I am telling my baby story. So here it goes. So let me start off by saying that my pregnancy was not easy at all. Unfortunately, I had a nightmare pregnancy from the very beginning. And it's incredible because, my mom, for example, if I take her as an example, she never had any symptoms. She always loved to be pregnant. It was so easy for her. And for me, it was pretty rough. The first symptom I had was insomnia. I couldn't believe that I was not able to sleep during my pregnancy. And actually, I think that was the way I realized that I was pregnant because I stopped sleeping. I've always slept like a brick. I can totally just close my eyes and fall asleep in 2 minutes. And when I was like about literally 3 weeks pregnant, I just woke up in the middle of the night and I was awake. I was fully awake and I was like, what's going on? I've never been like this and that. And like 2 weeks after that, something grew inside of me like, I think I might be pregnant. That was the first thing I started to think, like, I think I might be pregnant. I'm gonna go take a test. I remember that day I came home from work and I text my husband like, hey, can you stop at the pharmacy and get a pregnancy test for me? I think I'm pregnant. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, man, you always think you're pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, please, I beg you, this time I think it's for real. We took the test and bam, we got the big fat positive, right? We were absolutely excited. Our baby was very much wanted, but it was a little bit unexpected because we weren't planning, but we were also not avoiding it. So in some way, it was meant to be. We were absolutely happy. We were thrilled. We wanted to tell everybody, but you kind of want to wait. You hear so many stories. You never know. It's a little bit superstitious to just, come out and say to the world, like, immediately, I'm pregnant. And then, like, hey, I'm not. We found out about August. In August, I was like 5 weeks. Then during my birthday in October, we decided to call everybody. We call everybody personally. Obviously, it's the first grandchild on my husband's side. It's the second grandchild on my mom's. The first boy. Everybody was extremely excited. I am so blessed that my baby is so loved. Like, my baby literally has fans. I didn't have any symptoms till then. I remember I didn't have any nauseas. I was, just eating normal. I was super addicted to pho and like, just normal things. I don't feel like I had big cravings during my pregnancy, but I remember that Sunday on the 9th week, my birthday, everything went to hell. We went for a brunch with friends and stuff. We were so happy. My belly, I started to show like immediately. Like, I remember being 10 weeks, I started to vomit like crazy. I started to suffer from migraines. I've always had very bad circulation problems, and my varicose vein, they started to hurt so bad. So I spent a lot of weeks sick, completely sick. I didn't have appetite for food. I was pretty much forcing myself to stay hydrated. All I wanted was a liquid diet. That's all I wanted. I had like this repulsive reaction towards meat. I was not ingesting animal meat for some reason. It was too heavy. It was too heavy on me. I was not a happy camper. However, I was taking prenatals before I got pregnant because it helps my hair. So it was awesome because I know that, you know, that fetus was well nurtured when it was conceived, this and that, you know, the critical weeks where you're supposed to, you know, eat very nutritious meal, this and that. I supplemented with juicing. I juice a lot. I'm gonna make a post about it. It's gonna be in my list for videos because I love juicing and it's something that I super swear for. Like, it's just awesome. So let's say that I was not a super nice pregnant lady. I was never snappy at my husband. But, you know, it was tough. I felt like my pregnancy was like this sickness on me, and unfortunately that's horrible. I'm such a positive person, you know, like I never thought that I was gonna be that type of pregnant lady. I never had what these pregnant people, they call like the sweet spot, where everything was amazing, everything tastes wonderful. That was not me. I was not having like you know, like cravings, and I was not, you know, eating all the meals I wanted because for some reason my baby was like very high, like my belly was high in my ribs. I feel like I didn't have that much space for eating. I would just eat a little bit and feel super full. I never had that acid reflux that people they describe, even though that my baby was extremely hairy till this day. You never know, you know? Till that point, me and my husband, we are very resourceful people. I just went and read 2 to 3 books that I liked. It's not like I just went and read a bunch of books because I kind of know exactly the type of parenting and the type of things that I wanted. I kind of knew what to expect in some way. But because my baby, he was a little bit big, a C-section was always on the table. So fast forward into the moment, my mom came from Venezuela to take care of me, thankfully, because I love my mom. She is the ultimate midwife, so I wanted her to be there so bad. Along with my husband, my sister came along too, and it was like a very happy moment. My baby shower was gorgeous. I loved it. Thank you so much for everybody that went there. It's like unforgettable. We love the pictures and we love the memories that we had from my baby shower. I was gigantic. I didn't have maternity shoots. I had more something that I call parenting shoots because I wanted my husband to be involved. I didn't want to do the typical naked belly type of pictures, this and that. I totally understand that there's a lot of romanticism behind it, but for me, having a baby is not only about the woman, it's also about the dad. But I wanted to remember that we were in this together. So I got to the 39th week and, you know, nothing was happening. I was a first-time mom. I didn't know what to expect. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't want it to go overdue because once you go overdue, those babies, they pack those pounds so bad, and I didn't want that. I've always wanted to have a vaginal birth. I prepared myself for a natural birth. I saw many hypno birth tutorials, you know, the breathing. I do some yoga, so I kind of knew the essence of it. I was like squatting like crazy during those weeks. I even took a walk with the full moon with my mother-in-law and my stepfather-in-law and my husband and my mom, and everybody was on board. That was hilarious. We were just trying to get that baby out naturally, and it didn't happen quite there, but it happened a couple days after that. I remember I woke up at 6 a.m. and it was like, bam, I need to walk. I walked 3.5 miles. Almost at a stomping pace. I was like stomping. It wasn't like a nice slow walk side to side, no, it was like stomping. And you know, I felt great, I felt energized. I was like, I got this. Whenever you're ready, baby, I'm ready. So I went home, I made breakfast for everybody because I woke up so early. I was like, I want to make a banana cake, a Venezuelan banana cake. My husband was in the room watching TV, laying down, and I just laid down next to him and I fell, bam! It was like, oh! It was like in the movies, okay? It was just like in the movies. I didn't know what that was. At that point, I thought that it was a baby's kick. I thought the baby kicked me. But as soon as I stood up, that was a waterfall of water. My husband went pale. He was like extremely nervous, like so much. Me, I was more like anxious, you know, it's like, wow, it's finally happening, you know, this is awesome. I'm gonna meet my baby. I've been waiting for so long. To me, there's a bunch of people that they're like, oh, it's gonna go by in a blink of an eye. To me, it's like, 9 months, it's like extremely long, and it takes for freaking ever to have this baby here. I went on labor on a Friday. My due date was the next Monday. So I saw my doctor the Monday before that Friday, and she told me like, would you like to be induced? You know, like just in case you are overdue, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna try to make this happen naturally, but if I feel like it's too much, you know, 3-4 days, yes, I would like to be induced. So I got to the hospital, everybody checked, I was still in 3 centimeters. And what they told me is like, once you break your water, this and that, like the labor progressive pace is like 1 centimeter per hour. So every hour you will like stretch 1 centimeter. And I was like, great, we're gonna have a May the 4th baby, we're gonna have a baby Jedi. So we were like very excited. I was chill. I was chilling, I was chatting with everybody, I was making jokes. Everybody came to visit while I was in labor. I am not a private person at all. If I could throw a party in the middle of my labor, I would. But I was very glad that everybody was there. It was very comforting for me. So let me make a parenthesis right there. My doctor, she recommended the nurse and the doctor that he was there receiving me to give me small doses of Pitocin. I didn't say no because since I was going to be induced, I mean, it was, what's the point? I was gonna get Pitocin in any way. Of course, I was gonna get the epidural. I was on board with the whole plan, everything. I always had a very flexible plan because my husband was very, very big, was a very big baby with a gigantic head. And this baby was pretty much the same. A C-section was on the table, was always on the table. I never wanted to put me or the baby in distress. So back to the chronological order of things. I got my first doses of Pitocin. Contractions started to hit. It was durable, it was endurable, it was fine. I was, breathing fine. I was eating ice. I was eating ice chips and stuff. I was completely fine. But things weren't moving. We weren't progressing. That baby was not coming down. He was not fitting himself in the canal. I was doing my best. I was squatting down. I was like walking. I had the peanut ball. I had the birth ball. I had everything. And it was just too slow and it was not happening. When I broke my water, it was around 11 a.m., 10-ish, 11 a.m. By the time they gave me the Pitocin, it was around 2 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. And my doctor finally came around 8 p.m. and she was like, this is taking a while. I want you to relax. I want you to take your epidural right now. For some reason, I was like, no, I'll take it later, I was really terrified, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the epidural terrified me, the needle, the place. I mean, you hear so many stories. I tried not to, but you do. One of my aunts, she had like a very bad experience. This is how it goes. I had a bad experience as well. Not with the needle. The needle was fine. I took my epidural when I was like about 6 centimeters. And actually, I mean, that was fine. What was not fine is that it didn't do anything for me. Unfortunately, I am that little percentage of people that they need a little bit more of anesthesia because I have like, I don't know, like a resistance to it. I don't know, I'm like immune to anesthesia. I have no idea how to describe it. It wasn't working. I was basically in raw pain with the epidural on. It was, you know, I kept like pressing that thingy and it was just not happening. The epidural was not doing anything. So this is where things started to go south. I was in my room with my family, you know, lights off. I was passing and, you know, enduring my contractions because they got very strong. A bunch of nurses broke in the room. They opened the doors like wide. They put like oxygen on me. They gave me a shot to stop the pitocin. They made me turn around and get on my fours, even though with the epidural I couldn't feel my legs. They basically helped me to do that. And they started to shake my belly because they lost track of my baby's heartbeat. He was basically fainting in my womb. His heartbeat dropped so low, that was extremely scary. We didn't know. First of all, I didn't know what was going on, but reading their faces and, you know, how serious they were and how worried they were, and everybody was shocked. So what they say is that either the baby got like all tangled up in the umbilical cord, or he sat or pressed the umbilical cord, or he didn't like the pitocin and the way the uterus was like contracting and trying to squeeze him out, and he was just not liking that. He was not ready for that. He was like, what the heck? Why am I getting evicted? Stop. So he didn't like it. But even then, even with all that, you know, event happening, I still had my hopes of, you know, bringing this baby to this world in a natural way. So at 4 a.m. my doctor, she came to the room. She was being so sweet. She was like, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I know this is a lot for you, but I'm going to recommend a C-section. And I was like, darling, get him out. I am not putting up for this. Just get him out. I just want to know that my baby is safe. He's healthy. I just want to see him. You know, the anxiety was over the roof and it was too much by then. And I must say that once I said that, and by the time that baby was out and crying, everything went so fast. It was incredibly fast. They got my husband ready for the surgical room. They got me ready. They gave me the medicine. I remember telling her like, please give me something very strong. I don't want to feel anything. I felt all the contractions. Please give me an anesthesia very strong. I'm so scared. I was very scared of feeling when they cut me. They explained me that once the baby's out, you're gonna see him for a couple seconds, but then I'm gonna give you a little bit of like a stronger anesthesia to do the stitches. And I was like, great. And when he was out and I saw him for a couple seconds, they immediately, you know, shoved that thing in me. And I remember feeling like numb, and I was falling asleep. And I remember seeing him like on the distance, and I was like, no, I need to see him. Give me adrenaline. I want adrenaline. I want to see him. It was very heartbreaking because I was falling asleep so fast. This video is turning so long and I'm so sorry, but there's so many things to say. By the time I went to the room, I was so swollen. My eyelid were like two balls. I remember having him here and I couldn't see him. I was like trying to see him and I had to like open my eyes like this to see my baby. It was so sad. It was like the saddest thing ever because I was so swollen, my face, my lips. Okay, this video is like taking so long that I need like a snack break. So having my baby in my arms was incredible. I loved it. It was just amazing. I was absolutely amazed what I've just created. It was like I was so curious to see how he was, you know, his little features. It was a very overwhelming experience for for both of us, my husband and I. We were like in tears looking at that baby. It was just amazing. We loved it. So those first 24 hours, I was like laying in bed. They made you lay in bed with a catheter, so you don't have to like get up and pee and stuff. Till that point I was fine. Like as soon as I started to move and as soon as the nurses, they came and they made me like, you know, flip to one side, flip to the, you know, turn to one side, turn to the other one. Those moves were horrendous. That pain was very rough. From 1 to 10, it was very painful, my abdominal area. Because think about it, my uterus was like contracting for almost a day, and then it was cut in half, you know? Like my muscles not only had to recover from the contracting, because it was like you making abdominals for a day, but you know, the incision, you know, those muscles were reconnecting, the nerves, everything. It was very painful. One nurse came and she was, her only job was to make me walk. And oh my God, when I stood up and I started to, and I gave my first step, I didn't faint. Some people, the pain and the feeling is so overwhelming that they faint. I didn't faint, but I feel like I was very close to it. And the way I describe it is that, okay, so this is me. Let's say that this is a whole me, and this is where the incision was. Okay, so I feel like when I was walking, my body was like sliding to the side. Then I was gonna like cut. I felt like literally like a cut watermelon that I was just like, you know, sliding to the side. Super bad. Recovering from a C-section is a completely separate video that I have to do, because in my case was really rough, was very rough, and I don't want to sound like a whiner, but it's the truth. I consider myself a high tolerance, a high pain tolerance person, but a C-section is by far the most painful thing I've ever done. I've never had any type of surgeries. This was my very first you know, main surgery, so it was very overwhelming. And the fact that it was an emergency C-section made it worse. After those 24 hours, I started to feel better and better. I started to take showers, to walk a little bit. It was very hard though, but I wanted to go home. I remember having this feeling like, I just want to go home, I just want to go home, this is so overwhelming. Hospital life is intense. Nurses are getting to you every 3 hours. You're taking pills like crazy, medical stuff all over the place. Everybody's like hovering over the baby, this and that. So that part is a little bit overwhelming. My breastfeeding story and journey, I'll obviously make another video about it, but I'm just gonna talk about that very quick. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was meant to be from the very beginning. Thankfully, he latched immediately. My milk came down immediately. It was very convenient. It was so convenient. My baby was awesome at latching, so that journey in that area, I am very proud of it, and I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with the results. At home, the recovery was still rough, okay? My husband, the day we went home, he went ahead to CVS and he bought like a handlebar for the side of the bed. He brought me a cane. He brought me a chair for the shower. He was very accommodating, and like looking back, that was a great idea. And I think it's gonna go in my must-have postpartum recoveries from C-sections and even like from bad tearing. So once I was here at home, I felt awesome. I felt, you know, in my happy place with my baby. I was just enjoying the snuggles. So I'm gonna say that the things that they made me push through the most, it was definitely the help. The help that I got from my husband, the help that I got from my mom. I was only allowed to do nothing but bonding with my baby while I was recovering from my C-section, and I loved that. I loved it. It was fantastic. Looking back, that was the right way to do it, and that was the way that it's supposed to be. You know, women taking care of each other. So here's my baby. He just woke up from his nap. He was not napping behind me. He was napping in my room, actually. That's how I was able to record all this super long video. Hold on, let me put this one on the floor. To wrap this up, after this video, I know I'm gonna make another one to be more specific about some stuff, about some procedures, about the way, you know, some techniques that I use to, you know, prepartum, postpartum, this and that. But my conclusion to this is that let's take care of our women, especially after they had a baby. So even if that woman says, no, I don't want any help, no, we're fine. Yes, you do need help, and you know you're not fully fine. So if you have a friend, if you have a relative, if you have your wife that just had a baby, help her out. Natural birth, C-section, we want help. Even though that we think we don't need it, we want it. Somebody bringing you food, somebody hiring a cleaning service for you, somebody doing your laundry, you know, somebody physically taking care of you is just amazing. It feels so nice. You feel like there's nothing wrong in this world, everything is fine. It definitely adds so much value, and it makes you feel so loved and so good and so appreciated in such a vulnerable moment. You feel run over by a train. And let's not even talk about sleep deprivation, because that's another story. Sleep deprivation was horrendous. Okay, so my camera just died, so I'm gonna have to finish this video with the GoPro. I'm in the middle of decluttering my baby's closet, so we have like a pile of clothing here, and we have like his clothing. He is definitely sizing up, so we are doing that right now. But anyway, back to the subject. If you can relate to my birth story, I hope you leave me a comment. Let's just start a conversation, because it's very important for me to build a community that we have, you know, things in common, things that I can learn from, maybe to have a better experience of my next baby. So thank you so much if you watched this whole thing. I know it was a lot. I know I'm gonna make several videos like explaining things better. I feel like all these changes that I've been through during pregnancy, postpartum, it's been for good. I feel wiser, I feel stronger, I feel amazing, and it's awesome. Motherhood is just like they said, one way or another. It's just like they say, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. Everything was worth it. Everybody has different experiences, everybody has different stories, and this was mine. If you're new in this channel, I make videos about adulthood, parenthood, minimalism, decoration tutorials, all the way till kitty cats, because we're super fan of cats in this household. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.